So last week we took a look at the Pandora 9D PSA. Today we're going to be taking a look at another Pandora's box, or Pandora key as it's known when you switch it to Chinese. So looking around the back of the machine, we've got the same old stuff. We got the power switch, the DC in, the HDMI out, the VGA out, the audio out, the volume controller, the settings button and USB ports. Now those USB ports are meant to be able to allow you to connect this to a PC, but I tried it and it doesn't work. The PC just comes up as not being able to see the device. So let's take a look inside the machine, and as you can see there are 3 screws to open and that's all there is to it. So let's get those screws out and take a look inside. So inside we can see that there's a little bit of hot glue there, so we'll get rid of that. And here we have the player 2 joystick and the buttons, and as with the other device, everything is wired up very neatly. As you can see with a close-up look at the buttons and the joystick, everything is very well put together, nice and solid. You're not going to have this falling apart on you anytime soon. And taking a closer look at the board, we can see that it has a Pandora 9 sticker on it, and the QC sticker over the micro SD card, which we're going to take out and try and see if we can put anything onto it. Now if you try and take out the micro SD card normally, you'll find that it won't come out. But take a closer look at the socket and you'll see that it has a lock and an open arrow. So to get the micro SD card out, you push the actual metal cover back and then it allows it to lift up. Now you can get the SD card out. And as you can see, this came with a 16GB SD card. So I was very interested to see if we could actually change any settings on this machine. You know, maybe there's some sort of VSync option. But upon putting the micro SD card into the PC, all we get is one folder with boot 1, 2 and 3 on it, which cannot be accessed. Or at least not by Windows. So what we can do is we can open up Mini Tools. It's a free utility which you can get on the net. I'll put a link in the video description down below, and it allows you to partition drives, SD cards and so on. So using Mini Tools, we can actually see that the micro SD card is partitioned into 4 sections, with 7.8GB of one section being completely empty. What a waste. Now the only section you can see using Windows is the F section, and that is 16MB in size. That's the partition that has the boot files in it. But the 6.6GB partition is where all the data is stored, such as the games, the videos and the music and so on. But we can't get into that. Or can we? Well, using the recovery mode on Mini Tools, we can actually get into that section and see what data's in there. Now according to Mini Tools, we got 2 QuickTime movie files which don't play, and a crap load of AVI files which are all the video previews that you see when you actually play with the Pandora's box. There's also a couple of MP3 files. Now these are used for the background music when looking through the menu system. Sounds familiar? Now fortunately, you can't copy anything back onto this partition. So my idea was to maybe add some new games, because I think they're just using standard main ROMs because they are all zipped, although you can't seem to open those zip files. And I wanted to replace the so-called classical style music with some actual game tunes, but unfortunately we can't get anything back onto that partition, or at least to my knowledge anyway. So unfortunately there doesn't seem to be any sort of configuration file, and the boot section files, when you try and look at them, are just a load of garbled mess. So without some sort of specialist software, I don't think it's possible to actually modify the way these Pandora boxes actually run, or to add games to them. So upon switching on the Pandora's box for the first time, you'll notice that it is in 16:9. But not to worry, because you can change the aspect ratio. But unfortunately on this machine, when you do change the aspect ratio, it also changes the language into Chinese. So the 4x3 option only appears in Chinese, which is a big shame. Now unfortunately, if we want to play the Pandora's box in English, we have to put it into 720p and use the TV's controls to put that picture back down to 4x3 ratio. Now most decent TVs will have that option, so it's not really a big deal, but it would be nice to have it in software. Like other Pandora boxes, it comes with the so-called optimization mode. Switch that off because if you leave it on, you'll just end up with blurry graphics. Also, don't forget to turn off the internal speaker if you're using the HDMI cable for your audio out. So as standard, the Pandora's box uses a Neo Geo style button arrangement, which is really annoying for most arcade games. So, luckily you can customize the keys and save them as Capcom style. We'll put ABC at the top and DEF at the bottom. So we've got the punches at the top and the kicks at the bottom. Now as to be expected, this device will play all the same games as the last Pandora's box we took a look at. Except this machine has an emphasis on arcade games, not console games. And every arcade game seems to run very well. They've not put anything on here that doesn't seem to run well. So let's take a look at some of the games running on this machine. As with all the Pandora boxes, this comes with all the same goodies. So we have the instruction manual, VGA cable, a USB cable, and the HDMI cable. And also 2 extra buttons, just in case you break yours. So what do I think of this Pandora's box? Well, I actually quite like it. If the screen tearing doesn't bother you that much, then it's fairly decent. I mean, everything I tried runs at the correct speed, and as you can see, there's a lot of variety of games. You've got your fighting games, your platform games, your action games, your sports games, your shooting games, puzzle games, they're all in there. And yeah, it's pretty good value for money. It's just a shame that it doesn't seem to work on a PC, or didn't work on my PC as a joystick. And yes, I did have it powered on and so on, as you're meant to. And I don't have a PlayStation 3 to check it on that, but I did check it on a PlayStation 4, didn't recognize it, and an Xbox 360 and an Xbox One, didn't recognize it either. So yeah, according to the instruction manual, you can use it on other devices as an external joystick, but yeah, my PC just said that the drivers didn't work. But according to the manual, it doesn't need drivers. Anyway, link in the video description down below if you're after one of these machines. And until next time guys, take it easy.